Joe Biden pardoned you and a number of people who he thought Trump would go after.
No, I take the opposite view. I don't think he should have given the pardons at all.
Really?
No, I don't think he should have, and I was vocal about that at the time.
Can you refuse a pardon?
That's less clear because in the case of the January 6th committee, he pardoned essentially the whole committee.
And the fact that Schiff hasn't blinked since 1992. And he didn't take the news so well. The disgraced Democrat went on TikTok to complain. Behold.
Hello, I'm Congressman Adam Schiff with some troubling news. Today, Kevin McCarthy removed me from the House Intelligence Committee, all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans.
Bill Maher and Greg Gutfeld have finally reached their breaking point with Adam Schiff. And this time, they didn't just throw playful jabs, they went all in. For years, Schiff dragged the country through endless tunnels of conspiracy, chasing shadows of Russian collusion, flashing flimsy dossiers, and presenting lies as if they were holy truth. But now, the smoke has cleared, the facts are undeniable, and even his allies are circling like vultures over a wounded performer. What's unfolding here isn't simple criticism, it's pure political combat. I've got every devastating blow, every fiery exchange, and the shockwaves ripping through the entire political arena.
Let's stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Yeah. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it. Yeah. I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
No, you weren't imagining it. That really was Bill Maher unloading on Adam Schiff, live for the whole nation to see. Something you'd never catch on CNN or MSNBC unless their studios were ready to burst into flames. Schiff gambled his career on one reckless mission to take down Trump, preaching Russian collusion as if it were carved into sacred stone. He milked that tale like a never-ending drama, pounding it into the headlines day after day, only for it all to crumble into dust with nothing left behind. And when the truth finally shattered his story? Silence. Not a word. That's why Maher came crashing in with the knockout blow. What have you ever actually done for America?
For Adam Schiff, because he created 3 years of a massive fallacy that did so much damage to this country and made us miss probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. We were having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding.
Greg Gutfeld unleashed one of his sharpest takedowns yet, tearing Adam Schiff apart for his reckless role during the pandemic chaos. While the virus slipped through the cracks and lives hung in the balance, what was Schiff doing? Not leading, not protecting, not preparing. He was obsessed with impeachment, clinging to it like a child lost in his favorite fantasy series. Instead of warning the nation about the storm ahead, he dragged America through endless investigations and fed the media just enough nonsense to keep the circus alive. When people desperately needed leadership, he made sure the spotlight stayed glued to Trump. Gutfeld didn't hold back. He crushed Schiff's credibility and hammered his warped priorities with a brutal question. What kind of man misleads an entire nation just to satisfy his own vendetta?
Hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding. We talked about that virus in green rooms, but we had to do this impeachment story. We had to show these hearings. It's all on him, man. He's got to go. They got to investigate him. They got to hold him accountable. I'm not going to say he should go to prison, but my evil twin will say he should go away to prison for a very long time.
It's unbelievable that Adam Schiff is still walking free without facing a shred of accountability after misleading the most powerful nation on earth with nothing but smoke, illusions, and political theater. At some point, the truth has to catch up. No, he doesn't need to be dragged off in chains, as Gutfeld noted, but the very least he could do is stand before Americans and deliver a raw, honest apology. For years, he drove the country into a frenzy of hysteria, costly investigations, and taxpayer-funded wild goose chases, all for petty political points. He wasted time, money, and public trust, like it was spare change in a game. That kind of deception cannot simply vanish without consequence. An apology won't repair the wreckage, but it would mark a start. And let's be real, it's the bare minimum he owes.
Schiff got kicked to the curb, and the irony is superb. He went crying to mommy on an app run by Chinese commies. Congressman Adam Schiff announced this morning he's running for U.S. Senate in California, which is guaranteed to boost U-Haul rentals headed for Texas. He unveiled the highly polished and produced political ad right on the heels of getting booted from the House Intel Committee. Coincidence? I think not.
Speaker McCarthy was absolutely right to kick Adam Schiff off the House Intelligence Committee, finally ending a years-long circus of lies and illusions. Schiff twisted his authority into a political weapon, spinning fantasies and draining public trust while pretending it was all oversight. Now, with his eyes on California's Senate seat, he's treating it like just another act in his tired stage play. But if history tells us anything, Maher and Gutfeld warn he'll drag those same tricks and shady theatrics straight into the Senate if voters give him the stage. Schiff's reputation now precedes him, and it's anything but flattering. From hyping empty collusion bombshells to turning national security into his personal prop, he's proven again and again that he's addicted to drama, not leadership. California deserves more than a career showman chasing applause, someone who puts ambition above the very people he claims to serve.
The Atlantic put out an article last year, and it was called Separating Sports by Sex Doesn't Make Sense.
Right.
And talked about how we separate sports like the WNBA and the just because it's just socialization. This is insane.
I agree.
Okay. That's why people vote for Trump. Because there's stuff like that on the left that people just go, I know Trump's horrible, but separating by sports by sex makes perfect sense. And if you think it doesn't, you can't leave the country.
Bill Maher laid it out with cutting clarity. Adam Schiff is racing straight toward disaster in the California Senate race. Why? Because he's simply too woke. Schiff doesn't shout it from the rooftops, but his polished delivery, slippery answers, and carefully packaged politician persona reveal exactly where he stands. He's firmly aligned with the woke wing of the Democratic Party, and Maher wasted no time calling it out. When asked about trans women competing in women's sports, Schiff practically danced his way off stage, dodging any real answer. No solid yes, no firm no, just a slick rehearsed line that screamed, "I'm with them," without ever saying it aloud. That kind of double talk is the oldest trick in politics, sidestepping clarity to stay politically correct. But Californians are tired of it. They're exhausted by leaders who tiptoe around cultural battles like they're walking on landmines. Maher spotted the dodge instantly and nailed it for what it was. In an era that demands straight answers, Schiff's vagueness and pandering could be the very flaws that sink his campaign.
Dems pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eyes. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. 2 for 2. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured. But to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12-inch neck.
Greg Gutfeld's assault on Adam Schiff wasn't just fierce. It was a carefully aimed demolition that left nothing standing. Every word was sharp, deliberate, and devastatingly precise. He didn't just mock Schiff's Senate dreams. He dragged them under the spotlight and burned them to ashes before they even had a chance to ignite. This wasn't about cheap applause or throwaway jokes. It was a warning to the entire nation. America doesn't need more self-serving politicians chasing headlines. It needs leaders who put the country first. And that's exactly where Schiff fails. Beyond his obsession with impeaching Trump and spinning conspiracy after conspiracy, what has he ever actually done for the people? What major bill carries his name? What bold plan has he offered on immigration, inflation, or national security? The silence is deafening. Schiff's so-called legacy is nothing but theater, empty words wrapped in performance. Gutfeld's takedown cut deeper than pride. It was a wake-up call. America cannot keep rewarding showmen when what it truly needs are statesmen.
Senator Schiff, given the ongoing political tensions and Trump's actions toward his critics, do you think President Biden's preemptive pardons turned out to be more important than initially expected? Let's first tell people what that means, preemptive pardons. That was pretty unprecedented, right? Before he left office, Joe Biden pardoned you and a number of people who he thought Trump would go after.
No, I take the opposite view. I don't think he should have given the pardons at all.
Really?
No, I don't think he should have, and I was vocal about that at the time.
Can you refuse a pardon?
That's less clear because in the case of the January 6th committee, he pardoned essentially the whole committee.
Now, here's where the drama explodes, because fresh reports suggest some of President Biden's pardons might not have even been signed by Biden himself. Yes, you heard that right. That revelation cracks open a full-blown constitutional crisis. If presidential signatures are suddenly questionable, what does that mean for justice itself? Imagine Adam Schiff receiving a pardon someday. Would it even hold up? If that pardon turned out to be forged, flimsy, or nothing more than a shady backroom deal, it could be tossed out instantly. And when that happens, Schiff could finally face the punishment he's dodged for years. Accountability can't just be a campaign slogan, it must actually mean something. No ghost-signed pardon or insider favor should ever shield corruption. If Schiff abused his power, then no political connection should save him from justice. The American people deserve leaders who answer to the law, not ones who slip through secret loopholes. True justice must cut through the velvet ropes of privilege, and Schiff's backstage pass may be moments away from being ripped apart.
And so the FBI came in and arrested the judge. Now, I haven't heard that, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever read arrested a judge. So is this significant?
Well, I think
I'm not going to comment on something I don't know more about than what you've just told me.
You read about it too.
Yeah, I mean, I read about it, but I don't know.
So you don't trust anything either, and you work for the New York Times.
Well,
Bill Maher never let up. He kept Schiff pinned under fire, ripping away the mask of hypocrisy and hammering him for his selective outrage. When the topic turned to a judge arrested for helping an illegal immigrant escape ICE, Schiff suddenly acted clueless, as if he'd never heard a word about it. Please, if that case had even hinted at Russia, Schiff would have been in front of cameras within minutes, staging a press conference and delivering one of his dramatic monologues. But since it didn't feed his favorite narrative, he went completely silent, and that silence spoke louder than anything he could have said. This is Schiff in plain sight. He doesn't chase truth. He chases headlines that benefit him. When it's about dragging out the ghost of collusion, he never runs out of energy. But when it's a real issue like immigration, silence. Maher saw it instantly and called out the double standard without hesitation. This wasn't forgetfulness. It was a calculated dodge. Schiff's selective outrage and scripted silence are why so many Americans roll their eyes when politicians claim they're doing what's right. People don't want referees who only blow the whistle when it helps their own team.
Dems pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eyes. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured. But to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12-inch neck.
Adam Schiff has once again fed his loyal supporters a massive whopper. No, he wasn't removed from the House Intelligence Committee for bravely taking on MAGA villains. He was ousted because his entire case against Trump collapsed like a Jenga tower built on lies. His so-called evidence was nothing but smoke, mirrors, and stage theater. For years, Schiff pushed the Trump-Russia collusion story like it was sacred prophecy, swearing that damning proof was always just around the corner. Spoiler alert, that corner led straight off a cliff. And when it became painfully clear his claims had no foundation, did he admit it? Of course not. He spun the story like a polished operator, painting himself as a victim and insisting he was punished for courage. That's not bravery, it's desperate damage control. Schiff's playbook hasn't changed one bit. He keeps his base hooked with buzzwords, dramatic pauses, and emotional spins, hoping no one notices the emptiness beneath it all. But facts eventually slice through the fog. Schiff doesn't fight for truth. He bends it. His persona is built on deception, distraction, and division. And the mask is slipping fast. From hyping debunked hoaxes to ignoring real crises, Schiff shows his loyalty lies with ambition, not accountability. That's why Bill Maher, Greg Gutfeld, and millions of Americans are tearing back the curtain on his hypocrisy and double standards. The fog is clearing, and what stands revealed is not a leader, but a stage actor, an applause chaser in disguise. California doesn't need another performer hungry for the spotlight. It needs someone willing to put people before politics. And voters are finally beginning to see the truth.